Audio Jungle.
I am the Divine Prince, Emmecca, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, Advisor, Elagoon, Oloye, Hoodoo, Obeya, Bokur. I reside in this beautiful and legendary historic Treme, New Orleans, Louisiana. So join me as I share food, music, culture, tradition, the rhythms, and the flavor of New Orleans voodoo. Respect the voodoo. Indeed, respect the voodoo, respect the voodoo. Honor and respect, divine peace and blessings. You are now sitting again live with another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, powered by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. The spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that bind the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. Inspired by National Voodoo Day in Benin and led by Black community members, New Orleans National Voodoo Day, now New Orleans International Voodoo Day, is a day of collective remembrance and spiritual reparation that is preceded by a symposium and includes a procession to monuments at the sites of slavery in New Orleans, a ritual to account for and seek absolution for the city and the country's participation in the institution of slavery, homage to the ancestors who suffered through and survived the transatlantic slave trade, and honor and appreciation for the achievements of those who came out of oppression. 2 days of education, creative expression, elevation, cultural exchange, and above all, healing through authentic voodoo traditions handed down through generations. We offer a path to healing on the ongoing ramifications of slavery and racism in the United States. Through an international partnership, New Orleans International Voodoo Day becomes a major annual event in New Orleans, bringing peace, relief, and healing, and connecting New Orleans with Benin, Haiti, and the major points of the transatlantic slave trade and hubs of voodoo, as well as all nations where African traditional religions are practiced, in a healing circuit and drawing visitors from around the world. We continue to invite you to join us, participate, volunteer, sponsor, donate by visiting our website at www.vodouday.org. Again, www.voodooday.org. VODOUDAY.org. And we look forward to seeing you and hugging your neck this coming May 9th and May 10th of 2026. And I'm certainly grateful for our continued participating and listening audience. Give me a second here. I didn't click on my IG link. Anywho, I'm certainly grateful for those of you who continue to show up and attend and participate. Thank you, Nina Lloyd, for being with us, our partner and elder and supporter, Elder Reggie. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight on panel. Thank you, D Goddess. Peace and blessings to you and yours. And the beloved built with Shahid, greetings and salutations to you and yours as well. Greetings, Elder Reggie. Peace and blessings. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Divine. And how about yourself?
All is truly and indeed a blessing. I
Yes.
got up and did some head cleansing this morning, a little
Good.
Ivory, and certainly acknowledge all things thunder and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just ready for the next day, the next gig, the next moment.
I know that's right. Yeah.
Greetings,
One
Sister
quick thing,
Toni Val.
I seen a couple of videos. Man, New Orleans got hit with some heavy rain and wind yesterday. I didn't get it that bad. From the videos I saw, I was like, wow.
Yeah, across the river they did. They got some gust of winds over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, Sister Toni, welcome.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you?
Yes.
It's good to hear everyone. Hello in our listening audience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it really did go through there. Like they said it didn't sound like a tornado, it just sounded like wind. Cause they said a tornado sound like a train coming.
Mm-hmm.
But they said they didn't hear that. The witnesses who they spoke to said they didn't hear that. It knocked over trees, knocked trees on people's houses, knocked over light posts.
Wow.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there was a
good.
reported tornado touchdown, I believe, on the West Bank.
See.
oh, really? It probably was.
Yes. In Marrero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, we had been talking about the herbs and the plants and everything, how they sustained our ancestors and how they could sustain us through modern times like now. I found a really good one that is often overlooked,
Uh-oh.
not a second thought given to it, not today, not by many people.
Mm.
And it's a plant, but it's not planted in the ground.
It must be a parasite, a vine, if it's not
It's
planted.
not a fungus. Well,
Yeah,
in order
fungus.
for it to be a vine, it have to be planted in the ground, and it's not a fungus.
Well, is
It
it a parasite?
no,
Yeah,
it's
Meaning,
not.
no, she's talking about the air plant Spanish moss.
Yep, that's what I'm
okay.
talking about.
Well, yeah, okay.
Spanish
Yeah.
moss.
Yes.
What a wonderful, versatile plant. Air plant is very spiritual.
Oh, yes.
Um, spirits live in that moss. It's a spirit attractor. And before you bring it in your house, you have to pray over it and clean it with
Mm-hmm.
Florida water, smoke, and even ammonia water. As a medicine, it was brewed for teas to relieve arthritis and rheumatism, to ease the pain of childbirth, and induce women's milk to flow
Mm.
after childbirth. And it was also said to be good for chills and fever. Now, it also was a good money maker. There were actually people that used to go out and gather moss with rakes and sell it at a good price because it was used to stuff mattresses,
Right.
pillows, furniture. And actually in 1992 it became illegal to harvest moss off of Lake St. John, not Bayou St. John, not to be confused with Bayou St. John. Lake St. John, in one of them small Louisiana areas with a cluster of those little one stop light signs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's in Cato Parish.
Okay.
And they say it can carry grief too. And they say never get moss from a cemetery.
No, indeed.
You know that
Never.
speaking of cemetery, it reminds me of Hope, the one in City Park. They
Yeah.
have some moss. They have some trees that has moss that grows in that cemetery back there in Hope.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Never get it from there. But you can still it went out by 1954. They really stopped using it to stuff furniture, and they went to the cotton and more synthetics to stuff furniture and make pillows with. So the business part of it, making a living of it, was gone by the mid 50s. But
Greetings,
spiritually,
greetings, Shahid Ali. Greetings.
Peace.
is still out there. You can still harvest it. And the reason why it grows so well in oak trees and cypress trees is because the way the leaves are made on the trees, close to the bottom, they it needs shade and
Mm-hmm.
coolness. It can't be exposed to the sun. It doesn't take sun very well. But it seemed to have been quite an addition to the herbal medicines of our ancestors, and it's still around today, and it's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to City Park, Audubon Park,
But
and
listen, I'd be very careful about where I harvest it because these hanging trees
oh yes, the hanging trees.
have hanging spirits attached.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Don't go to the oldest tree. Don't go to the oldest tree in the park. And if you do, bring it home and cleanse it. And then
Mm-hmm.
it also will hold bugs like chiggers,
Mm-hmm. Chunkers.
and you have to clean it and shake them, get them out of there.
Yes.
But yeah, we have plenty of that still today.
Yeah.
But like the prince said, be careful where you get it from.
Mm-hmm. I have a topic. I'm not trying to change the topic at all, but I was a little bit on the internet tonight, and with the new pope being an American pope, there's rumors that this pope was born in the Seventh Ward in New Orleans, and that he may be of a mulatto. I don't know how true that is yet. I'm gonna see how this play out. I just wanted to bring that out. I don't know.
Okay, he he wasn't born in the Seventh Ward. His grandparents married and lived in the Seventh Ward, and they left. They moved away in about 1912 and moved to Chicago, where he was born. But his grandparents were mulatto. They were Creole, and
So,
his mother's name is Melinda Martinez,
mm,
and somebody in their family is from Haiti. But
wow.
his grandparents were from New Orleans. And I
Yeah.
guess when everybody was going north, they went north. People didn't search the census records and everything. Got photographs of his mama, his daddy. I mean his daddy when he was a baby with the grandmother, with the Pope's grandmother and everything. You know, them historians, they be checking fast.
Right. That's what I think some of that, and I was like, I'm gonna bring it up tonight because it's just a whirlwind around this pope. and everything that goes with this. Yeah.
But my thing about it was they knew it was time for a black pope.
Okay, now.
It had been talking for the last two popes that I didn't see get elected. There was talk of a black pope and they never made it. But they got the black pope this time, but they got the whitest black pope they could get.
But that's wait, you got to unpack that, Sister Toni. I'm serious. When you say the whitest black pope,
His
what are you saying?
complexion. His
Okay.
complexion.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of getting a dark brown pope,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, many people looking at him wouldn't even realize he was black. Or one drop, or a quarter black, or however it is.
Right.
But
With that being said,
somebody had even mentioned that when the grandparents left New Orleans with the sons, the two sons, and went up to Chicago, that they all became mysteriously white. So,
Well, it certainly happened in my family.
wow, yeah, wow, okay.
so
So if you could, if we could bring the movie Cine in just briefly. The lady that was dealing with Stack, I think she tells Stack she's 1/8. Her great grandfather had African blood, and she's 1/8 in the
yeah,
movie. So would the Pope be something like that?
no, actually, he's a little more closer.
Oh, okay.
He's a little more closer because he just got his grandparents.
Right, which would make it two. Yeah.
So he just once removed.
Once, yes.
And on the census, they have the race noted as mulatto for his grandparents.
What? Oh, okay.
Yes. They had the address they lived at, which is now not there anymore because of the Claiborne overpass.
Mm-hmm.
But they had their address and everything.
Toni, I respect you so much. You're a great researcher. I mean, you current, you be on top of it. I respect it. I do.
Well,
Wow.
thank you.
Yes. Wow.
I've had a lot of practice. And with the help of Divine Prince, who tells me how to find what I'm really looking for by using a correct verbiage and wordage, when I did start using the computer, because I was against it for the longest time.
Okay.
But yeah, he helped me a lot so to make it easy. So now I could pretty much, as soon as I read something on Facebook, I could just go to Google, put it in, and find out if it's true or not.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But it's showing up. It shows up in your talking in your lectures, and you be spot on. So I really, really respect that. Yes.
Well, thank you. And then too, I don't know if Mississippi and the other southern states had this officially on the books. It was officially in the hearts of men. But in Louisiana, we had the one drop law.
Right.
We had the one drop law. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were passing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, Huey P. Long said, you can feed all of the state of Louisiana with one loaf of bread. And he wasn't talking about that plantation bunny neither, because that size hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
And
You
how does
shake
this
them
play
family
into
trees.
the predictions about a black pope, particularly those predictions made by Nostradamus?
Well, yeah, they had some predictions. That it was gonna be the fall or something when a black pope was elected, and it had to be three things that occurred, and the pope was one of them. But it's supposed to not be good. So I have to look into his predictions of the black pope more closely.
With that being said, we have a Queen Mother that be with us in the group, and she brought up St. Augustine and the stuff that was going on at St. Augustine Church with the archdiocese and all that. I'm wondering, with this new pope, would there be a resurgence back to Catholicism?
That's very interesting.
Perhaps.
That's very interesting. That's a good thought.
Because the schools and the churches locally, they're losing so much money until they have to close and merge with other church or with other schools.
Yeah.
So if they get a revitalization back into Catholicism, of course, there'll be money flowing back in, and some of these institutions could stay stabilized. Just some food for thought.
Well, the Catholic Church, which I don't understand since they have a lot of money, but here in New Orleans owes millions of dollars out to pay lawsuits. And I know they're looking to sell some of their property because, just like I said, I don't see how y'all ain't got no money. Y'all better go to the main office, which is Rome, Vatican City, and get the money. I know they about to sell some of the senior citizens homes that they do.
Yeah, they're selling off property.
Yeah, they're selling off property. St. John Birchman and Christopher N. They about to put them up for sale. So, but I think a lot of people recently got away from Catholicism to the point where they may not go back due to the pedophile charges. I had a friend who was a staunch Catholic, never missed mass, would not do anything for mass. They wasn't missing it. And when his last round of about 3 years ago, when they came out with the New Orleans priest charge, he just gave it up. He said, they can't save my soul because they demons they self. And he just don't even say nothing about a Catholic church no more. And he been Catholic all his life, and he a senior citizen. So it's a lot of things that went into why people turned away from Catholicism to see if they're gonna come back.
Yeah, but with
He would definitely have some effect. We just don't know to what degree.
Well, I know I ain't gonna be able to look at the news because that's all they're gonna be talking about, and I didn't heard all I want to hear about it. And I was raised in the Catholic Church. and a Baptist church. My daddy was Roman Catholic at St. David's in the lower ninth ward.
Yep.
And my mother was stomped down old school Baptist, Stronger Hope Baptist Church up around the Callio Project. All for Galvez up there.
All right now.
So I pretty much stayed in church.
Yeah. But you know, the church, mosque, when we open up the Arab mosque, all of it still ties into voodoo, in New Orleans voodoo in particular. Because a
Yeah.
lot of the saints, a lot of the Catholic services and saints, even with Marie Laveau, it still ties into voodoo as we talk. In fact, I have a work in what that has. I brought it from someone, but it has moss in it, and they use the moss from Audubon Park within it to make it. So yeah, it's still relevant and prevalent today. Yes.
Oh yeah, some people have it on their altars. You just have to be careful with it and clean it real good.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have it on their altars. I have actually seen it in some people's yards
Mm-hmm.
on other trees other than
The
the
cypress
oak
or the
tree.
magnolia.
But it didn't seem to be thriving. I've seen it in crepe myrtle trees,
Mm-hmm.
and those trees become naked in the winter.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful
So
in the spring, though.
yeah, they are.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. They make good switches to whip you with too.
Yeah.
Cause we had one in my yard, and that was where I had to go to get my switch
Yeah.
with the
Wow.
little knots on
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm. You know, we living in an interesting time. Wow. It's just things are moving fast, but it's very interesting time right now.
And very uncertain times.
Mm-hmm.
We could go to sleep and everything been changed by the time we wake up after 8 hours.
Mm.
I mean, you literally have to stay on everything. And the one thing that had me worried, Trump had appointed this guy over FEMA, the head of FEMA, and Trump wanted to cut out FEMA. And the guy told him he didn't think it would be a good idea to cut out FEMA. So Trump got rid of him and put somebody else in there that's going to do what he say do.
Mm.
So by the time we get hurricane season, we might not even have FEMA to kind of fall back on. And I know if it wasn't for FEMA after Hurricane Katrina, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to come back from that devastation
Right.
without FEMA. They should all be on the state. And you know, Louisiana ain't never got no money. Let them tell it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the gambling was supposed to bring. Money.
Right.
And a lot of people still, unfortunately, don't have renters insurance and proper homeowners insurance that
Mm-hmm.
will accommodate particularly flooding events, but also these severe weather events.
Yeah, and those insurances is so tricky. You got to make sure you got what you have, because you could have flood insurance in a hurricane and you don't flood, but the hurricane blow your roof off. That's considered wind damage, and if you don't have wind damage insurance, they're not paying you nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
insurance is tricky.
Well, another problem is they're not right. They're not underwriting policies right now. Some of
Yeah,
the insurance company will not write a policy to protect your home from hurricanes at all.
no.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
And I know Jimmy Carter must be turning over because he's the one who started FEMA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed, Jimmy Carter.
He
Well,
was
we're
the
going to
best
pull it to a
president I know.
yes, yes, indeed. That's a whole new conversation. But we're going to
Yeah.
pull it to a close for today and invite everyone to join us again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for another edition of Voodoo Hoodoo 101 with Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, powered by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. Peace and blessings. Good night, everyone. Odabo.
Good night, everyone. Have a great night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, Asheo.